Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with the first in a series of Rhode Island Comic Con toy review videos. So this is convention exclusive Volk from Mars Toys. Almost makes me think of Mars Robotics, those little not Transformers you can sometimes find in pharmacies and stuff. Basically, Volk is a third-party toy of Origin's Bumblebee. You know, with when Bumblebee had that little flying saucer mode from that one episode of the G1 cartoon, you know, like what his Cybertronian alt mode was. And this is a third-party toy that the original version of this toy was made in Bumblebee colors, and then they made another version of it in Goldbug colors. But then when they made this convention exclusive version in Space Shuttle colors, I was like, aw, okay, you got me. Space Shuttle colors and a flying saucer? Alright. Of course, we do have an official toy of Origin's Bumblebee, so, you know, it's actually kind of cool that we have something official to compare it to now. So let's get good old Volk out of the box so we can go ahead and share. Okay, so Volk comes in just like this. There's no separate bubble for his accessories or anything. He doesn't even come with any instructions. He only comes with these two QR codes, which are supposed to take you to a video link where they would apparently have the instructions there. But when I used the YouTube link, it didn't work. The channel no longer exists. Like, I never thought that we would have a problem with not being able to get a feature from a toy because you can't get the DLC anymore. Actually, now that I said that out loud, that makes perfect sense. There are plenty of toys that are meant to interact with apps and games that no longer exist. But yeah, I imagine people that have Skylanders or Disney Infinity, like, they can still play those games with their minifigures that they want. But, you know, there's other stuff that would rely on an app, which is now defunct, I guess. Okay, so we have him out of the packaging. He has wheels. Little wheels. Wheels which do allow for rolling. So you don't have to worry about scraping up the underside of your little spaceship. And otherwise, it's a pretty interesting take on a flying saucer. Like, it definitely has that saucer profile, but it also has features that make it look more plane-like. You know, you have a cockpit window in the front, you got thrusters in the back, and like the robot thighs are right here on the nose cone, but they blend them into the intakes for the jets fairly well. And from this angle, it kind of looks like the heat shields on the nose cone of the space shuttle. That's what made me think space shuttle colors with this thing, because that's evocative of the heat shields on the nose cone of a shuttle. That's what made me accept it. Underkibble is actually treated fairly well. There's the robot's legs folded up there. There's the robot's arms and hands. His two little pumes are tucked away. You know, efficient weapon storage. Fairly decent way to store everything away. And it's pretty big. Like, it's about the same length as Origin's Bumblebee, but it's much wider. And taller, too. So, you know, we're gonna... Plus, like, Origin's Bumblebee doesn't have any wheels, so that's one thing that this has. Although the way that Bumblebee folds up is not completely dissimilar. I mean, there's his arms. If anything, this thing actually does a better job of storing the guns away so that you don't have to see them if you don't want. On Origin's Bumblebee, the only place you can stick the guns is actually on the ship itself. Okay, so let's get this guy into his battle mode. Yes, he has a battle mode. First, you take the little guns out. If you have a decent fingernail. Yeah, I did it. Alright, so you can gently pull this piece of the ship out just a little bit. The one flaw I'll give the vehicle mode is that these things don't really peg in very strongly, so you can easily accidentally undo them. But if you undo that part of the transformation just a little bit, then you can do some futzing. Oh, how did they do it? I think what they did... Oh yeah, now I remember. Let me set this up off camera again. There we go. So you can, if the hands are lined up in such a way that you can load the guns into them and then have them stick out of the opened up wing to be like a little attack mode. So, you know, you can basically arm the UFO. Like, yeah, battle mode. That's kind of nifty. Alright, so let's get him transformed the rest of the way out of robot mode. Into robot mode, I mean. Now, that's the perils of living in an apartment. You can't really have a soundproof recording studio. Okay, so you just gotta unpeg. I feel obligated to actually do the transformation for this on camera because, like I said, the instructions no longer exist apparently. The legs come out easily enough. You just rotate them around at the hips. Then this part, you just kind of roll up like that. Alright. That comes unpegged. And this full... Whoa. That should not have made that sound. Okay, that collapses down and forms the torso. The head comes out like... The head comes out like that. The legs straighten. You rotate the hips around. Then you rotate the thighs. Like this is... Yeah. Oh, wait. That leaves screw holes in the front. Oh, that has screw holes on both sides. Okay. Okay. The hardest part is right here. There we go. Yes, all that folds out and collapses in on itself. These two things just kind of stay there. Then you just bring these up. And then the arms come around. Make sure the elbows are going the right way. And this is just kibble. You arrange it in the way that's most aesthetically pleasing to you. Oop. And then you finally give up and straighten everything out off camera. And here he is in his robot mode. The only weakness is that the waist joint on mine feels a little loose. Like, yeah, doesn't really friction in. Like, it doesn't really friction in to the proper place. Also, this little bit of his back kibble doesn't really peg. So, like, when you're manipulating the figure, you can push it out of place. He also has, like, some gigantic shoulders going on here. Like, there's a big old ball joint inside, which does give him a lot of range, but it, you know, like, I guess if he's going to chart, this is not a guy who would want to shoulder charge you, but given that he wouldn't be able to see when he's charging, you could probably dodge him fairly easily. That head sculpt's pretty nice. It is a stylized Bumblebee with a faceplate on, so all good. You know, very Bumblebee-esque without, you know, it is a copyright-free Bumblebee. And then, like, there's this whole other arm. Aside from the ball joint that's his shoulder, he basically has another shoulder underneath that, from which you have a bicep swivel, a elbow, and a ball jointed wrist with a lot of range. And this one piece of kibble that has no place to peg into, you just kind of have to rotate around to be out of the way whenever you're messing around with it. So, yeah, the arms have a lot of range, but feel kind of awkward because that's not human-like anatomy. Then again, he's an alien robot that literally turns into a UFO, so what are you really expecting from that? The hips are much more straightforward. They're a simple universal joint with a thigh swivel underneath. And he has a knee that goes a full 90. The transformation kind of gives him a double jointed knee, and the foot goes up and down. I don't think this really accommodates anything for the transformation. It is just a foot for being a foot. And there is ankle rockers. So, you know, the figure is very posable, very articulated. The anatomy can look weird because of the gigantic shoulders, but, you know, it's a very... Yeah, it's very cool looking. Like, look at that. That is just pretty darn epic. I transformed Origin's Bumblebee into his full robot mode so you could appreciate the differences. Obviously, Bumblebee chooses not to have kibble on his shoulders, instead having it all folded up on his legs. So, you know, aside from that, like, they kind of have opposite philosophies on where you put your transformation kibble. Like, do you want to have it fold up and tuck itself away as much as possible into your legs? Or do you want to wear it proudly as gigantic shoulder armor? Like, I don't think one does it better than the other. They're different. I appreciate the fact that they found different solutions, which both kind of work. Do we ever see Bumblebee's Cybertronian robot mode? I know we saw his Cybertronian space car mode, but did we see him in robot mode? I don't think he had giant shoulder pads in the G1 cartoon is what I'm trying to get at. So yep, like I said, the accessories he has are these two little guns, which he holds in his hands just fine. And that is the story of, what was this guy called? Volk? Yes, Volk. The white space shuttle-esque repaint of a third-party transformer that was doing Origin's Bumblebee. I mean, like, this cost me $50, so I guess technically an Origin's Bumblebee is cheaper, but, you know, you can't get Origin's Bumblebee in these colors. So if you ever find yourself in a convention hall, which is the only place where you're going to be able to get this convention-exclusive figure, and you find a dealer who's selling them, I would say that it's a pretty decent buy. Just keep in mind that you're going to have to figure out the transformation on your own because the instructions are no longer available. This is Wake Angel 2001 signing off.